All right, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Molly G, back at y'all another episode of Running With You. And tonight we got to run about this Meg the Stallion and Klay Thompson fiasco. They got a woman on a podcast claiming, by the way, a lot of women feel like this. So this ain't just her. She's claiming that Meg made Klay more famous on a global scale because a lot of people didn't know who he was after he got with Meg. Let's go ahead on and see what else she got to say about this. Haven't seen any of this video, so we're gonna react to it together as usual. Without further ado, let's get right on into it.
We didn't know Klay Thompson before Meg the Stallion. We didn't know Stephon Diggs before Cardi B. And while these guys have more money than these girls have social and global influence. Meg the Stallion made Klay a global star, whether he wants to admit or not. These men like to use these women for come ups and for social status because, like, don't ever get it twisted, girls. Social currency is still a currency. If you are well known in your circle and you are well respected, a guy can use that for social come up because being with you makes him look good. If Meg the Stallion is dating him, he must be popping. He must be giving guys. You need to be very, very careful because guys are users just like girls. I would.
Okay. Only women think nobody knew who he was before Klay Thompson. This man is a full-time NBA champion, one of the best pure shooters to ever grace the court. Only women can say this. Now, has more women, known who he was after this? Yes, I can agree with that because I think a lot of women don't really know who these sports players are. They just want to go to the games just for aesthetics, for their social media, especially the football players because they have a helmet on. When it comes to the basketball players, I think majority of women know who a LeBron James is because LeBron James is so polarizing. And on top of that, like I say, he's not a football player, so he doesn't wear a helmet. But, a guy like Klay Thompson, they probably wouldn't know a Klay Thompson more than a LeBron James, or, if they think a guy is, very attractive. Like when I was coming up, a lot of the women, they like Allen Iverson. They used to have Allen Iverson on their folders and stuff, going to class and stuff. Now, I think the new Allen Iverson of this era, a lot of women like Ja Morant, you know. So when it comes to Klay Thompson, ain't as polarizing as a LeBron and ain't as much of a easy on the eyes type of guy as far as a Ja Morant. So what I think is, I do think two things can be true at once. I do think that, you know, yes, Hollywood does set up, two couples for good PR. The woman gonna get some of his fan base to, start rocking with her, and he gonna get some of her fan base to start rocking with him. And I do think that, whether women, whether woman knew that she was gonna he bagged Clay, whether women knew he was with Meg Thompson, I'm saying Meg Thompson, Meg the Stallion or not, they was gonna go anyway because he's a athlete. Any woman gonna go to with an athlete. They don't care if he's the bench player. They want to just be able to say they with an athlete. Now it is levels to this, but at the same time, this man is a multi-millionaire. Once they find that out, they ain't gonna give a damn if he was with Meg the Stallion or not. They gonna just be next in line. Now, if they got a lot of rumors going on that he's a trick or he has good sex or something like that, then that's the type of social proof that the woman's looking for. And I think that was going on with uh Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs was just piping all these females out, and word around town was getting around that, he was good in the bed, and on top of that, he's a trick. So you getting piped out, and you getting bags and gifts and all these lavish vacations and stuff. Oh yeah, women like that, and they don't care about being sixth, seventh, eighth in line. As long as their needs are getting met. Let's proceed.
Even say more. A guy knows when he has a woman that he can use to make himself look better. And I think sometimes the insecurity that we have in ourselves do not allow us to see what we are actually worth, what our currency is. But a man can see it. A man can see your value economically before you. And it does not even need to be money. It's status, it's reputation. When you're around his friends, how does you standing next to him make him feel and look? But because a lot of us are insecure,
A lot of that, what she's saying is true. You know, if Klay Thompson was to bring Meg Thee Stallion around his friends and stuff, even though she's an industry bop, he gonna feel like, yeah, man, I know what that's like to twap that, you know, knowing that his friends would all just be imagining, you know. Now it's gonna be some peers of his who could say the same thing because Klay Thompson ain't the first athlete that she's been with. But at the end of the day, his social circle, you know, he gonna feel like he the man because shit, he bagged a Meg Thee Stallion. But I don't think that he. Sometimes it ain't even much about, you know, it ain't even much that deep. It's just shit. He wanted to see what it was like, you know, like to him his fame ain't go up that much dramatically. Now, from the woman's perspective, it's like, oh, I can't believe he did that to her. You know, yeah, he gonna get hit with that. But at the end of the day, these women's gonna go anyway, you know, and he just wanted his turn. You know, I don't think he thought he was gonna be anything serious. Well, he just wanted his turn, you know. Like she could have said, oh, I'll mess with you, but it's gonna be on the low. And he would have been fine with that too, you know. Because it's other people who did things with her on the low. And some people came out and, you know, let the rabbit out the hat, just like Blueface, let the rabbit out the hat and said, oh yeah, she gave me head. You know, and that's the last thing you want from a girl you wifing up. All these dudes was before you, and then you got people saying, "Oh yeah, she sucked me up." Like, come on, man, come on, man. Meanwhile, she's twerking all over the internet.
a lot of us don't see ourselves the way the outside sees us. That's why a guy can pick you and you could be like, oh my God, he picked me. He's a money man. He's this. No, he picked you because you have status, because you have social currency, and because you're that.
Now, I do think a lot of things can be true at once. Like a lot of men, I think, would mess with a Cardi B because Cardi B is such an icon when it comes to the industry. Cardi B has so much money, she has so much status, so much influence. A dude will feel like, damn, that's lit. I'm messing with the hottest chick in the game. A lot of a lot of the red pill content says, oh man, a man don't want a woman with status. A man don't want a woman who, you know, don't care about a woman's money and all this and all that. But I think we're in a different time, and I think some men do want that. Some men want their girl to have motion. Some men want their girl to have their own thing to say, oh yeah, my girl got this going on, that going on, you know, so long as she don't be disrespectful, you know. But yeah, man. Shit, I just think when it comes to Klay Thompson, shit, man, he probably was attracted to her and he wanted to see what it was like. Klay Thompson ain't no slouch. Klay Thompson had girls before Meg Thee Stallion. Like, you got to keep in mind, this is the same man who used to date Coco Jones. And Coco Jones, to me, is on the same level as attractiveness as a Meg Thee Stallion. You know? But I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section below. You agree with her? You disagree with her? Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what you waiting on? Until next time, I'm out.